Assalamualaikum and good evening to panel 1, TS Dr. Muhammad Shahrin bin Yahya, and panel 2, IR Dr. Muhammad Faris bin Haji Mat Basra. Today, I'm going to present Bachelor Degree Project 1 based on development of GSM Smart Meter Energy. Okay, before that, let me introduce myself. I am Muhammad Firdaus bin Muhammad Khairi, matric number B081810071, and my supervisor Sir Muhammad Hatta bin Jofri and course BEI. Okay. For the agenda style, first intro, number 2 problem statement, and 3 project objective, 4 literature review, 5 methodology, and lastly number 6 conclusion. First, introduction. The technology of e-metering electronic has been gone through the rapid technology advancement, and there is increased demand of the reliability and efficiently automatic meter reading AMR system. Number 2, this project is about to design the development of the wireless energy, wireless GSM meter, and in execution web interface is auto billing. The purpose of the system to replace the traditional system reading method and enable remote access to existing energy meter by the energy provider or customer. Next, able to monitor the meter reading regularly without person visit each house. A GSM-based wireless communication module is integrated with the electronic energy meter of each entity to have the remote access over the unstable electricity. Next, our problem statement. First, in conventional metering system, the energy consumption are the manually recorded or printed by the meter reader TMB, such as SEB, SESB, and second, there is not amount the revenue loss of being increased by the country by this our country due to energy diff, which is seriously problem. The problem is to try to manipulate meter reading by adopting various practice and such as current reversal practice or fault condition bypass meter and the magnetic interface. Number 3, careless use of the electricity by the customer who is unwitness of the cost from time to time. Next, my project objective is to analyze and run simulate using the project software and GSM module to implement of monitoring control in the system. Number 2, to develop system monitor and control domestic energy meter based on Arduino. Number 3, field testing. We disconnect power supply at the house. Project scope. Here there is 6 project scope. First, communication between GSM and smartphone and smart meter energy. Next, simulation by Proteus software. Next, coding GSM using Arduino IDE. Next, measurement of the pulse, power factor, and units. The second last, based on the IEEE standard 11559 until 2009. And lastly, operate with the 230 volt single phase and 50 Hz power source. And that's our literature review. Here I have list out only 3 literature review based on my reading. First, the first literature review is about this is implement of the completely automatic billing system may be set up. There are purpose of automatically measure and monitor the electric consumption by customer in the certain area, communicate to the customer power to the station and issue a charge of the customer power. Next, literature review. Even the latest energy meter is not tamper-proof. Hence, to consider all the factors is all possibility to design, and the energy meter is tamper-proof, support the automatic metering and billing system, and at the same time helps to finding the fault location or transmission line. Last, the implement of the metering communication to assess energy consumption in the house and the automatic billing necessary. This can help to reduce energy usage in home because the own is constantly information of the amount of unit consumed. Next, my methodology. Start methodology flowchart coding. Here is the diagram of methodology flowchart coding. Start, and Arduinos will start analyze, and LCD will display the remote of energy meter. LCD will analyze of GSM, analyze GSM module and network, and we continue to LCD display the unit of the current bill and units, and the read input sensor we give the next. If the value if equal to reach the limit, we send the message to the customer and continue to the load to the up, and if the not, it will continue to read the message and we send you the message. And last, if you want to reset, is it will count the and we count and we send you the last billing. Okay. Next, my equipment I use. First, Arduino Uno. Arduino has been able to receive and deliver information to most devices and can command specific electronic equipment through the use of the internal program to board and the simple version of C++. Next, autocoupler. An autocoupler is a semiconductor device that allows of electric signal to transmit between two isolate circuits. Two parts are used to autocoupler, and the LED that emit traces light and the photosynthetic device that detect the light from the LED. Next, GSM. GSM or GSM or Global System Mobile Communication is the wireless communication standard of the mobile telephone system. Is developed by the Europe Telecommunication Standard Institute and as replacement to the first generation of analog cellular network. Number two, number equipment number four. Okay, we use is energy meter. And energy meter or the meter energy meter is the device to measure amount the electric energy used. And number five is relay. Relay is the device with an aim to closing and opening the circuits electrically as well as electronically, and is a control the opening and closing the circuit contact and the electronic circuit. And number six, the last equipment I use is a liquid crystal display, also called with LCD. An LCD is electronic display module which used to liquid crystal to produce a visible image. The 204 LCD is display basic module commonly used in DIY circuit. The 20 divided 4 translate is displayed to 20 characters per line and 4 such as line. Next, my block diagram. The block diagram start from power supply and energy meter, go to the supply to Arduino Uno, and energy meter will supply to load, and Arduino Uno will display to LCD. And when the mobile phone give the send the SMS to GSM module, and GSM module we can communicate to the Arduino, and we switch off the relay, and the load will turn on. This is our this is my simulation Proteus circuit. As you can see, the Arduino and GSM, LCD display, autocoupler, and power supply. This is my result for simulation. Based on my result, I can see the voltage through the load is 162 and the current 5.77 ampere. Okay, about the calculation of pulse per unit. Basic unit of power is watt. 1000 watt is 1 kilowatt. If we use 1 kilowatt in 1 hour, it considered as 1 unit of energy consumed. There are two types pulse rate energy meter. First is 1600 impulse kilowatt hour, and second 3200 impulse kilowatt hour. So here we use, for example, 3200 impulse kilowatt hour pulse rate energy meter. How to find the pulse? First, pulse is we get it from the meter energy, and after that we calculate pulse rated with the watt and time over the 1000 divided by 3600 based on the type meter we use, and after that we calculate the power factor. Power factor, watt over hours, and divide by pulse. After that, we calculate about the units. Units is power factor divide by total of pulse and over 1000. Next, this is my Gantt chart, our planning during PSM 1 or Bachelor Degree 1. First, in first week, I plan to select the PSM title and supervisor. Number 2, I will brief of the PSM 1 introduction and literature review. In week 3, literature reviews, study project background. Number 4, review the problem of the statement and make a report chapter 1. And week 5, literature review based on type meter. And number 6 is determine the hardware and software project. Software and project. Number 7, planning the flow chart and process the chapter 3 methodology. Number 8, the application of the methodology. Number 9, PSM1 report. And number 10, modify and repair the PS1 report. And 11, preparing a slide for the presentation video and for PSM1. And 12, PSM1 submission. And 13, PSM1 submission for presentation for PSM1. That's all my planning during the project 1. Okay. Lastly, as conclusion, after week of the investigation, the component for this interface has been considered. Variety of the possibility. The circuit diagram of each component has been designed. It's a spread of circuit combined in one circuit, integrated circuit at that point. However, at the end, the simulation on the Proteus still cannot be run only since only the energy meter could be found in the Proteus simulation library. That's all for me.